Hello, it's Saturday afternoon. I got a lot of work going on in the shop. I had to change what I was doing a little bit. I started tramming the mill a little bit, or practicing, see if I knew how. That's the Edge Technologies tool that works good for that. Anyway, by the way, I was talking about how I just put this vise on here and eyeballed it and tightened it down. I checked that with this last word indicator earlier, which I don't really need to check it until I finish tramming the mill anyway, but it was measuring by looking at this 1,000th last word indicator. It looked like it was about 1/10 of a thousand off, something like that. I don't even know how that's possible, but anyway, it'll probably be different now because we've moved the nod and the tilt on it. So yeah, it'll probably be off. I don't know. Anyway, I'm working on this diesel that I got conned into working on now, so we'll get back to this mill probably tomorrow. But here's this diesel pickup that I got. He needs real bad and needs it as fast as possible. So anyway, 2012 F350 chassis cab. Turbo shot, both manifolds. Here's the parts. Had broke bolts on both manifolds, so when I see that, I consider the manifolds warped. So they would either have to be resurfaced, which I ain't gonna spend time doing or don't have time to take them, because those are only about $60 a piece, I think. And we'll just replace those and the turbo, and it's expensive. Turbo's worn out and putting oil out, and the shaft is really loose in it. It was low power. Turbo wasn't spinning up good most of the time because it was hanging up and contacting the housing. So anyway, as far as these broken studs go, I've got this stud remover I'm going to try right quick. Probably shaking around, but I thought it might be interesting if you hadn't seen the tool. These are sold by everybody. They just kind of have an end in them that grips the stud. They usually work good. And of course I grabbed the wrong one, naturally. I think I have the other one right here. I got so much junk up here. Tools, keep picking tools up, but there's more. Let me snap this on here so I'll probably shake it like crazy. But anyway, that's where the turbo used to sit, of course, right there. Sure this light's right. So you can see the turbo wrist there. It's 6.7 diesel. We've got one stud back there broke. I already got all the rest of the studs out, but they weren't broke. They looked like that one. This one here, not a lot of light, but you see where it's been sitting up everything. Where the manifolds were leaking, and when they do that, they squeal real loud. Let's see if this will break this loose here. May be hard to do with one hand. And as long as these are, you could probably get them there with some vice grips or something, but this little tool works easy. All you do is just, it grips it, and you can use a hair ratchet, but normally if something's broke, you don't want to break it off anymore, so at least get it broke loose this way, then you can buzz it out with an air ratchet. But you know, air ratchets don't sound real great on the microphone of a camera while somebody's trying to watch it. Well, anyway, see, that come out real easy. These turbos are a pain in the butt, though, to get all the clamps. Get your hands up in here and get the clamps back together. I'm kind of dreading this, but he wants this thing done by the weekend. So I have to scrap my weekend plans, which is shop improvements and still setting that mill up to do this little mechanic job for him. Well, it's not little. It's about a $3,000 job here. I hadn't added it all up, but it's going to be around $3,000, or a little better. The turbo's about, I think, $1,800 or something. So plus all the other little miscellaneous parts. And you're supposed to change the oil after you do this. Even though I drained the coolant down, that's a coolant passage there that you pull the turbo, you can get coolant into the oil a little bit, so you're supposed to change the oil afterwards. Here's my little pad I've been laying my fat gut on. So anyway, I just got a lawnmower done that was in here. I got to take to her this evening. Here's the pile of parts. There's the turbocharger right there. Here's the manifolds and all the miscellaneous parts. Here's what the parts cost me so far. And that's wholesale price of all this stuff. I get garage discount from Parts Gather. So anyway, there's the turbo. I don't know if I can. Let's see. I'm gonna see if that's loose right quick. This is really not good. I know running this camera around like this, but let me just show you real fast. This may just be a short video on this, and we'll get back to the mill on a separate video maybe. I'll just take this tool. There you go, Scott. Quality. Okay. Let's see if you can see up in there. I don't know how well that's probably not got a lot of light in there, but you shouldn't be able to move that around like that. And here, how loose that shaft is in that turbo. I have seen them get so bad that they broke off actually. That one, not quite that bad. I don't know if we can, probably can't even see in this end, but it shares a common shaft, so I'm sure it's loose. Anyway, I got to change these pipes back to the new manifolds. Pretty good day outside. I know it's bright out here. I hate to even shine this out here, but son's been out here helping mow. This is still all the crates from plywood from opening that mill up. I think it's just curling up. It's 1/2-inch plywood. I think I'll just throw it out there in the burn pile and get rid of this junk. I can't get time to mess with it. It'd be nice to salvage, but it's got them staples in it that'd be hard. You break the wood getting it apart. Yeah, apricot trees blooming. This is March the 10th. So as usual, the apricots will pop out and then they'll get frostbitten, and it'll have a freeze or a frost come by in the next week or two, and they'll all be gone. We won't get any. I hate to see these things blooming this early. I've only got apricots 1 year out of about 10 years I've had this tree, and because every year they get burned off of there. The bees are out here working. My son got stung by one of them out here mowing. This is a little wild plum. I mean, it was a plum tree that died. You can see where it got cut off because it was dead, and then this come out of the root system. And it leaves out like a plum tree, I mean a peach tree. It could be some form of a native peach, or maybe a nectarine or something. You see where at some point deer have come out here and rubbed on that tree there and messed that up. But this is the other apricot, and it don't usually bloom as early as that one, but it still usually gets bit, and we don't get any fruit off of it because it blooms too early. Here in North Texas, this is a peach tree that got so overloaded with fruit 2 years ago that it just broke itself down, and I had to cut it off. The thing put out a lot of big peaches. And this is an apple tree that I really don't like. It gets to be a mess. I try to trim it back so I can mow around it. It puts off a lot of apples, and this is another apple tree in the middle that's this is supposed to be a Fuji, and that one's supposed to be a green, what do you call it, Golden Delicious, I think. This one's supposed to be a Fuji. They both seem to put off green fruit, so I don't know what they really are. They don't get that big. They look like about a half-size apple when they're grown, when they're ripe. don't know if we've talked about this much. This is the mini split unit that I have in the front there on the man cave part of the shop, and that has been a good one. I think this is the 3rd season on it. It's a heat pump, so it does AC and heat, and it does excellent job, and it don't seem to cost hardly anything to operate. I have never noticed any difference in my electric bill. It's a 2-ton unit. I thought it might have a tag on it, but yeah, it doesn't pull a whole lot of amperage. I think it shows, I'm thinking it's 10 amps or something like that. I don't remember. Compressor loads 11.5 amps. Yeah, it's maximum of about 12 amps that it can pull, but it does an excellent job in there in that room, cooling and heating. We also burn wood and stuff, so I don't really rely on it for heat, but I sure do in the summer when it's 100 degrees outside. Anyway, he started mowing. This place is a mess because of, you know how it gets when it's cold and you don't get out here and work the yard, so I need to move all this stuff. By the way, this is that crane that I wanted to pick up the mill with when it got unloaded, but it's supposed to be good for 4,400 pounds. I can't find any parts for this, and this thing got to where it won't lift anymore. It just lifts and comes right back down. I had this cylinder off and went through it and cleaned it and checked the pistons. The pistons seem to be good. You'd think they'd have a broke piston seal in there, but they really look good. But I think I'm gonna have to replace them, because this thing was working fine, and one day it just went down with just some cylinder heads sitting on it. And I'm either gonna have to do that, or I'm actually thinking about putting a whole different cylinder. I saw Northern was selling some long stroke cylinders for like 120 bucks, so probably cost me more than that to fix that one. I don't know. Well, anyway, I didn't want to be long-winded here, because I just thought you might want to see that stud removal, which is pretty simple. And we will get back to this other machine stuff soon. I've started hanging one fixture up here last weekend. You can see it way up there. That's 19 feet in the air, and I don't have a good way to get on there until I see that ladder is about 14 feet tall, a little under. That's a pretty big stretch when you're way up there trying to get just to one end, and I don't like the way that one's tied up there. And it's above the fan. I want it to be below the fan so we don't have a light flicker or something. And all these, I told you we're going to move all these fixtures. The only ones that are working good are these up here. These are the 2 LEDs I've already done. They're putting out really good light. That's right here above the mill, see? And we'll continue that towards this way, towards that south door. And we'll have good light over this mill and lathe. I just got these welders and junk pushed up here in the way for now. But I've been tinkering around and fixing little bugs with this mill. That's nothing big. I noticed it was spitting out little bits of grindings of the belt up here, and I pulled that apart this morning, looked in there, and I think it's just the belt kind of breaking in. I didn't see anything bad in there. And I'm thinking I may need a different wheel here. If I put that quill here, this wheel may not have room to be there. We'll get involved in that probably within the next week or two. I need to be able to have time to devote to that, but this guy needs his truck desperately. He's in the cattle business and he needs his truck. You know how that goes. So even though I tell people, if you want me to do this, I do work full time and I have my own jobs to do. I don't usually take in jobs that are that big. So you got to pull this wheel opening out to get up in there to get some of the pipes loose on that turbo. You can see the pipe laying there in the floor. That's the down pipe that comes off the turbo to your main exhaust system. So you have to pull this splash shield out of here, which ain't a big deal really, but this is a pretty big job, and it's probably about a 12-hour job by the time you get all these shields out and fix your pipes, and you got all these EGR pipes that you got to get back in place. And I've done lots of this work when I was at the Ford house, so it's nothing new to me, but still frustrating. Oh, I don't know if I showed you this. I had these shelves I had from the Ford house that was just laying around for years. They've been finished pretty nice. They're just kind of dusty and dirty. I think I'm going to cut this in half and put it on the mill table and put a slot on the back that'll fit in here, or rip a piece of wood, and that way I lay on top of here to protect my table and keep shavings and stuff out of these T-slots. I'll just, try to make it fit up in here as close as I can and lay that up here. That way when you're laying tools and stuff, I may have to put me a little rib of wood or something around the edges of that to keep stuff, bolts and stuff from rolling off of it. But I think that'll work fine for now until I can. Well, it may work good forever. If not, I even have pieces of this. I got plenty of Formica upstairs. I built this out of 3/4 plywood and covered it with that Formica. That's what we covered the cabinet top in the countertop in the man cave with. But I think that wood would be fine. Just won't hurt to beat around on it. It's already got a finish on it, so it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Anyway, yeah, this is a dirty shop in here, I know, but we are making a little progress here. Just trying to beat the summertime before it gets too hot. Anyway, y'all be cool today and stay busy out in the shop. And this is just kind of what I was showing for Quickie today. See you later.